Sam Darnold might have played himself out of the MVP conversation for this year, but earlier on in the year, he was playing like an MVP candidate. In this game, Sam Darnold had another quietly convincing case for MVP. The film shows exactly why. This game isn't about box score fireworks, but higher level throws, clutch plays under pressure, and a 61-yard missile nobody thought he could make. Remember, MVP is about value. Darnold was absolutely playing like an MVP in this game, and the film backs that up. Now the coverage for this play is going to be cover 3. Darnold sets the receiver in motion, takes a snap, looks down the middle at the linebacker. He has to figure out where he's going to go with the ball, with Cooper Kupp rounding up to go to the middle of the field. Darnold instead goes to JSN, and he fits this in the really tight window, gets it in there, but JSN drops it, making it incomplete. It's nothing big, but like I try to do with this channel, I try to point out not only the big stuff, which is the emphasis, the small things, because those do add up for all. Gotta have the full picture. Now we're looking at cover 3 once again. It's going to be second down. Instead of faking the handoff to Charbonnet, Darnold does a straight drop back, looking off to his right before flipping his attention to the left side to JSN. He's faking that he's going to go to the middle, but instead rounds around to the sideline to find JSN almost right at the last second before he goes out of bounds. I'm not sure why the corner gave so much space to JSN, even though it is his own coverage, but Darnold takes advantage of it, keeping the ball moving. Under center, Darnold's going to set his tight end in motion and send him back in motion to the right side. Darnold's going to see the defense presenting cover 3. Taking the snap, he fakes the handoff to Zach Charbonnet and looks straight down the middle of the field at the safety. Here he's taking a deep drop back, but as you can see to his left, the edge rusher trying to speed rush around to get to Darnold. Darnold senses the pressure, and so he steps up into the pocket, making a good anticipation throw to JSN, who is running wide open. But as you can see, he has his linebacker steaming up, and if this was late, it could have been tipped or broken up or intercepted. Now, one criticism of Darnold is his pocket presence. As if you look last year at the Vikings, he did take a lot of sacks. Most of that was him holding the ball for too long, and he made up for that with a lot of big-time throws. But still something he can work on, and that's something he's done remarkably well this year, as he is one of the best pressure-to-sack ratios in the NFL, which is very impressive. Most of that is him holding onto the ball for too long, and he made up for that with a lot of big-time throws, but it's still something he can work on, and that's something he's done remarkably well this year, as he is one of the best pressure-to-sack ratios in the NFL, which is very impressive. And when you think of Sam Darnold, you don't see him as a rusher, but despite all that, he can do some damage when put into the right position. There's going to be play action with the type of coverage being cover 3. And Darnold's going to fake the snap to Charbonnet, turn around to sprint to his right. However, he's going to have Hines Allen right there because the wide receiver, for whatever reason, is the sole one blocking. So Darnold has to sprint narrowly to avoid Allen, and he takes off for the first down and gets it right before going out of bounds. It's rare to see that from Darnold, but this next play, you would never expect for him. Now we're going to see a change, a spicy change by the defense. More importantly, Darnold has his best play in the game and probably of his career. Coverage is presented as cover 4, but the safety is going to drop down to make it cover 3-ish blend. Darnold fakes the handoff to Walker and sees a spicy opportunity. At first, he has a clean pocket, but now it's starting to close up on him. He has to take a step to launch his ball a whopping 61 yards. This is a rare throw in the NFL. You don't just see that kind of yardage on a throw often. And this isn't a throw that was underthrown and JSN had to slow up to get to it. Darnold puts it far out in front of him, and Jason has to run as fast as he can to get right under this. This is such an impressive throw. I never thought in my life that Sam Darnold can make that kind of throw. Such a spicy play. In a relatively low scoring affair, it made such a difference. I just think this play is funny, so I'm going to run through it quickly. Darnold's going to fake the snap to Charbonnet and throw a laser beam to JSN. It has to be thrown this hard with such anticipation because the corner is coming down flying. And JSN just isn't ready for it and goes right through his hands, deflects off the corner, which is Travis Hunter, by the way, and gets deflected into the hands of another defensive end. A missed opportunity by the Jaguars, as they could have had an interception, and it's a weird, funny play. So a lot of these plays happen play action. That's fine, because that's what this scheme is based off of, being it is the Clint Kubiak system. There's a lot of play action, a lot of zone running, and that's great because Darnold fits very well into this offense. And I think the playmakers do as well, especially. So one of the big questions I've had is, can Darnold be successful in a drop back to pass situation, not just play action, because play action is easier. And here, we're going to see him do actually pretty well in a drop back situation. But with also the Jaguars setting the house. So the coverage is going to be cover 0. The line holds up, and that's partly because the defenders back off post-snap. But anytime you see that all-out blitz at the line pre-snap, it's going to send your nerves into a frenzy. Darnold doesn't panic by flipping between reads. He looks to one side, has two options, one being Torrey Horton, who actually I like a lot as a player, and another being Cooper Kupp, who's essentially running a corner route in the red zone. He's going to beat Cisco, which is number 2. Darnold places his ball in a perfect spot with it being well covered, getting it right to Kupp in time before going out of bounds, scoring another touchdown. A proper pocket passer Darnold has become, and I'm loving it. So we saw Darnold drop back to pass straight up, and we're going to see that once again, the coverage being cover 6. Darnold drops back, looks to his left into the safeties. Nothing really looking open. Sam looks to the right side and sees his favorite target, JSN, absolutely routing Cisco by pretending he's going to run a post, but he flips around to get to the sideline and makes a great catch. But it's also a great throw that has to be perfect. There's not much room for any error here. If you look at his feet right before the sideline, if it's any further off, it's going to be out of bounds. As usual, there's going to be a couple errors by Darnold in the game. This comes at not a great time. Pressure's going to be on Darnold, with the coverage going to be cover 3. The Jaguars sending the blitz, a overload blitz here. Darnold's going to have an open guy, and for whatever reason, doesn't throw it, even though the first down is right there. No defender there. Even if he floats it out, the corner's not going to get there in time to knock it loose or intercept this, so there's no excuse to not throw this. Like, he has time. He's already going to take the shot because he's going to get sacked, so he might as well get the ball at the cup. It's an odd error. It's also a remnant of the past of why Darnold wasn't working out with the Jets or the Panthers, and the errors are going to continue before it gets better. Now we're going to see a serious poor decision by Darnold. Coverage going to be cover 2 man-to-man pre-snap, but becomes a cover 1 man-to-man near the end of this, because technically the Jaguars are blitzing, so the safety comes down to play underneath. Additionally, this play is based off of deep routes, which I think is a bad play concept because there's literally no option for Darnold to go underneath, which you need to have, especially given the Jaguars are starting to send the blitz more often at this point in the game. You need something. There's a running back to dump it off, but it's way too late for that. And Darnold, instead of eating the sack, tries to throw us out the JSN while getting hit, which is a horrible decision because this safety, remember that came underneath, should have intercepted this, and that would have put the Jaguars in great field position. It's technically not a turnover worthy play, but it really should be. It's a negative play by Darnold, and it's third down, so it's better to punt at this point than to give him great field position. I say it's one thing to do that when you're past midfield, throw an arm punt out there just for the sake of it near the end of the game. That's different, but for this, not worth it. But Darnold redeems himself. The coverage at first presents itself as cover 4. It's going to rotate to cover 3 with the motion from the tight end. Darnold changes the play, which is probably a run play becoming a pass play because he fakes a handoff to Charbonnet, rolls left, and sees a perfect opportunity. Now he has a rusher already coming at him as the left tackle can't contain him. So he stops rolling left, gets his feet set because of the tight end wide open, and launches a bomb to the tight end, who is wide open. But at that point, you have already a defender coming at you, so he's under pressure, already has to set his feet quick, and then saves the game ultimately. It's a great redemption by Darnold as he basically tries to hand the game to the Jaguars a couple plays before this, but it's a great finish against a good defense. I know the Jaguars have been kind of a joke for part of the year, but now they're looking to be more serious. Because while we looked at plays of them succeeding and Darnold making some great throws, the Seahawks punted a lot in this game, especially in the fourth quarter, so you have to give credit to Darnold where it's due because you're not going to drop 40 against a good defense usually. Sam Darnold secretly has had some great games this year that are going to go unnoticed by most. The Texans game is the most notable with him making some mistakes, but ultimately, he made a bunch of big time throws in that game as well. Texans had the best defense in the NFL in my opinion. They absolutely chop up quarterbacks for breakfast. I wouldn't be sold on Darnold just yet, given some of the dinkers he's had. He has proven to play at elite level in most of these games still. But what about another MVP candidate that has been lighting up the league? Matthew Stafford is a true MVP this year in my opinion. Check out the video here, or we want to see the other MVP candidate, Drake May. That video will be here.